Hi there, I'm Alex Gloria, and today I'll be talking about the solar system. But first, what's the solar system? The solar system is the gravitationally bound system of the sun and objects that orbit it. It formed about 4.6 billion years ago. The solar system consists of the sun, natural satellites, and the 8 planets, such as Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Let's start with the sun. The sun is very huge. It's about 110 times bigger than Earth. Its diameter is about 1,300,091 kilometers. The sun looks small from Earth, but it is about 150 kilometers away from us. Even the light from the sun takes 8 minutes to reach us. The sun is actually a star. This spinning ball of hot gas consists mainly of hydrogen. The temperature at its core is extremely high. Its surface temperature is about 5,505 degrees. Lastly, the sun is very important. It gives out heat and light energy, which is important for all living things. Now we have the sun covered up. Let's move on to the planets. The first planet is Mercury. Mercury is the smallest and nearest planet to the sun. Its current diameter is 4,879 kilometers, almost the size of the USA. It is the fastest planet around the sun and moves every 88 Earth days. Also, did you know that one day on Mercury equals to 59 Earth days? Lastly, Mercury is specifically made of heavy metals and rocks. Anyways, let's move on to Venus. Venus is the second planet from the sun, but despite Mercury being closer to the sun, Venus is the hottest planet. Venus is also the brightest planet in the solar system. Sometimes it can be seen in our sky. It is known as the morning or evening star. Venus's diameter is 12,756 kilometers, so it's slightly smaller than Earth. Venus takes exactly 243 days to complete rotation. The funny thing about it is that it goes to the opposite direction of most planets. Okay, now let's move on to our very own Earth. Earth is the third planet from the sun and is the only planet with life and water forms. In fact, 70% of Earth's surface is covered in water. Earth's atmosphere consists of 77% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and traces of argon, carbon dioxide, and water. Earth only has one natural satellite, the Moon. The Moon is just a solid ball of rock and has no air or water. The Moon spins and orbits Earth. Speaking of orbit, Earth takes 365 days to complete a rotation. It rotates on its very own axis and causes the day and night. Lastly, did you know that Earth is not flat, but it's not perfectly round either? Now we're done with that, let's move on to Mars. Mars is the fourth planet from the sun and is known as the Red Planet. Mars has 2 small moons, Phobos and Deimos. Mars is very cold. The temperature on Mars is about -55 degrees. Its atmosphere is very thin, composed of mainly carbon dioxide. Mars is much smaller than Earth. It has a large rocky surface with canyons, craters, and volcanoes all over it. In fact, Mars has the largest volcano in the universe, named after the Greek god Olympus, so it's named Mount Olympus. Lastly, it also takes Mars 24.5 hours to complete a rotation. Let's move on to Jupiter. Jupiter is the 5th planet to the sun. It is the largest planet in the solar system. It's very dangerous. It's very cold and has poisonous air. Jupiter is also made of hydrogen and helium, so it's called a gas giant and not the gas you think. There is a giant spinning storm in Jupiter that is called the Great Big Spot. It is the size of almost 3 Earths. It does not have a solid surface. And lastly, it takes 10 hours to complete rotation and 12 years to orbit the sun. Okay, let's move on to the most beautiful planet, Saturn. Saturn is the 6th planet to the sun and the 2nd largest. It is known to be the most beautiful because of its famous rings. I kind of want to slide down them. Sadly, they're only made of ice, rocks, and dust. Saturn is mainly made up of hydrogen and helium. It has a dense atmosphere of clouds. Saturn takes 10.5 hours to rotate on its axis and orbits the Sun every 29.5 years. Saturn is very much bigger than Earth. You can fit more than 700 Earths in it. Lastly, it has at least 62 moons. Saturn is very pretty, but we have to move on to Uranus. Uranus is the 7th planet from the Sun and the coldest among all. Its atmosphere is made up of methane, hydrogen, and helium. Scientists believe that Uranus has a frozen core. It's different than other planets because it spins on its side. It rotates on its axis every 17.2 hours, much faster than Earth. And it takes exactly 84 years to orbit the Sun. Lastly, Uranus has 57 known moons, and the 5 major are called Titania, Oberton, Miranda, Ariel, and Umbriel. Wow, we're on our last planet, Neptune. Neptune is the 8th planet to the Sun, which means it's the farthest. Its size is 4 times the size of Earth. It is composed of mainly hydrogen, helium, methane, and traces of water and ammonia. Another fact is that it is blue because the methane in the atmosphere absorbs the red light from the Sun, but reflects the blue light back into space. Lastly, Neptune takes 16 hours to rotate, which is very fast, and it takes 165 Earth years to orbit around the Sun. Last but not least, Neptune has 14 known moons, and its largest is called Triton. Wow, we're done. Thank you for watching. I'm Alex Clark from Six Obedience. Bye!